I'm Elma McCormick, Project Coordinator of the Messengers for Health program. Our program has been providing cervical health education to the women here on the Crow Indian Reservation. We are proud to present this video to you. Receiving the best health care is important to everyone. In this video, you will see that it really takes a partnership between you and your healthcare provider in order to receive the best care.
The Spaniards bring the horse to the southwest country. During the latter part of 1700, the Crows heard about the horses, that they can ride and cover a lot of big territory. So the chiefs got together, want to go after horses, and they select a lot of good warriors to go after horses. It took them years to bring the horses back. They walk all the way, then they rode the horses and brought them home to the Crow country. When they brought the horses, now they lead a different life.
Well, you know, the only way I can describe it is we have to go back in time a little bit, and we are very health conscious, and our diet, our hygiene, and exercise. You know, we were very health conscious people. And
the Crows were physically fit 200 years ago, evidenced by the encounters by European people. In 1830s, I think the first encounter by French fur trappers. Verandre brothers, when they first saw the Crow Indians, they described them as beautiful men, Boham.
Before the European people came over, the Crows were nomadic people. They followed a buffalo herd. So once they start traveling, they don't stay in one place very long.
The buffalo provided food, it provided clothing, and it provided shelter.
They migrate toward the west. Then that's where they found tobacco. That's where the Tobacco Society was formed. And it was really sacred, the tobacco, to the Crows, because we smoked with the maker above.
And what kept us intact and what kept us together was that respect. You get back to respecting this wind that's blowing and that water that we drink. It's all part of our life. The animals are part of it. The plants are part of it. It's a cycle of life.
They had the berries. They had the wild turnips.
Then we got the deer and the antelopes.
Wild birds like pheasants.
Then we got fish from the rivers too.
We ate what was around the environment. And I think our people, our ancestors, were a lot healthier back then than they are today.
It was, I think, our way of life, that our nomadic way of life, you know, that's how we live to be old.
Indian Health Service, it's all I can say is that it could be better.
50 years ago, the Crow people did not use the health services that were available. And the treatable diseases were left untreated. People died who didn't really have to.
I believe that the IHS is doing a pretty good thing because the cost of your health insurance and all this has been skyrocketing throughout the other country. And it's really great to have a facility to go to. And one of the things that I say that you have a lot of complaints and all this, but still you have that help there, and I really appreciated that.
I think IHS is excellent. They work as a team. I've seen accidents. I've seen people come into ER. I've seen people that should have been dead, and I've seen them a couple weeks later, months, like nothing ever happened to them.
Takes so long for you to get through the whole process. When you check in, then you go and give your little card to the desk, the appointment desk, then you sit, and then eventually they call you into the triage. Then you go and do your blood pressure and state while you're there. Then you come out and you sit and you wait and you wait. And it just takes a long time.
IHS is good for some certain things like sinus infections and colds and stuff, but we'd rather go to Billings even though we have to pay the difference.
The people who come to get care here need to understand that doctors, nurses, mid-levels, the professionals that they're going to encounter here are not going to be able to give out health. You know, coming to the hospital doesn't mean you get healthy.
Be concerned about your own health. It's the only way you're going to move on to the next day, makes things better or change.
Well, if I had to talk to people about health, I would tell them to exercise. I would tell them to drink a lot of water.
Health requires, people to take steps on their own.
I just made a choice personally, watching my food intake.
What I see, I eat.
Probably all the worst things you can eat are here on the reservation,
We put too much sugar and everything in our diet.
Everybody eats out, everybody drinks pop.
What we eat is the fast food.
Greasy foods.
Nobody likes to eat dry meat every day, and dry meat is less fat.
I can't even eat deer meat.
Look kind of Indian.
Kind of Indian. Shoot.
A lot of people don't like vegetables, and especially the Native Americans.
I got teased a lot for being a vegetarian, a Crow vegetarian. It was unheard of with my grandma.
I changed my eating habit and the way I cook.
Watch what you eat. You have to eat like in smaller portions and
watch your sodium intake.
You can always go get a banana instead of a candy bar.
Eat anything that's baked, broiled, or boiled.
You can grab a small bag of carrots as opposed to, getting a gooey caramel cinnamon roll.
It takes time and it takes money, but to me, I feel like I'm worth it.
Many of the activities don't require that much money. In fact, no money at all. The ability to walk 1 mile, to drink a lot of water, and to eat the right kinds of foods, and to be more active.
So people in our community need to walk more.
A lot of people hate to walk.
I walk a lot.
And during that time of walking, great things happen within the body. And one of them being the release of endorphins, which is a powerful pain medication. Much stronger, 200 times stronger than morphine. It causes euphoria. It stimulates the pancreas to produce more insulin. And it's also addicting. Once a person really gets into walking or running, he gets addicted. And the hardest part of a walking program is the wrist. Opening that door, stepping outside. Once you go past that, you're on the way.
Since I have changed my way of eating and choosing to work toward being healthier, I don't come to the Indian Health Service as much as I used to.
Some very specific things a patient can do before a visit would be to write questions down, to have a sense of what they want to accomplish in a given visit.
The patients need to ask questions. You know, what could this lead to? What is this about? What kind of medicine am I getting?
And to not be afraid to ask those questions right at the very beginning, right up front. Providers are used to it.
But your main goal is to just tell them the symptoms. My throat has been hurting me, headache.
Probably the best thing that a patient can do, someone who has to deal with the healthcare system, is to make sure they have one person that knows them really well. And we call that a primary provider, or a primary care physician.
We're only human. We want somebody that cares about what we care about, you know, and that's our health, our very lives.
It really is very helpful because when you're known by someone, then your care is going to be better.
I always advocated for myself.
Providers are already really, they really want to advocate for their patients. And particularly in this system, flawed as it may be, providers really understand the need to be active patient advocates.
For a long time, I think a lot of patients have been really disappointed with the IHS providers.
Because even me, sometimes I'm not comfortable with some of the providers. I mean, I don't know why. I just can't get on that one-on-one level with them sometimes. It's uncomfortable.
So if those providers could be made to be aware of that we as Native people don't always listen to words, but we feel that connection with them, then maybe that would help them to be a little bit more sincere about the care that they give to our Native people.
I haven't felt good about IHS for a long time. So I was really surprised for one of the IHS doctors to call and be concerned about my health. Really felt positive to do as she recommended.
If patients can understand and perceive that their primary care provider is a partner.
I think it's a 50-50 partnership with the patient and the IHS providers.
That this is really a give and take relationship, and it shouldn't be thought of as the doctor is telling patients what to do.
It's a lot of communication between both parties.
And patients are in charge. They need to know that they're, they can choose to take the advice of a doc or not. And with that choice comes responsibility. And people can feel empowered by that and should feel empowered by that and should also recognize that they need to take responsibility for how they live their life.
Be responsible for yourself. It's nobody's responsibility but yours in the end.
Okay, I had a doctor, and he made me feel real important.
I think at the IHS here in Crow, there's just too many people for this one little place to serve. There's just so many people, not enough doctors.
I really appreciated him, and all of a sudden he told me he was leaving, and that kind of made me feel bad.
I've been here, 42 years, and every year there's a new doctor coming in.
They need more doctors to come.
The number of providers that the Indian Health Service hospital or clinic has will change wildly through time.
So it is hard because there's a lot of providers that come, but they don't stay very long.
A lot of doctors and nurses and mid-level providers have left and moved on for lots of different reasons.
It's hard for me to find a regular provider.
That makes it very difficult for the hospital, but more so it makes it difficult for the community, because for a lot of people their primary doctor with whom they had a relationship for many years is now gone. And it's very difficult to make a new relationship because there's a lot of temporary workers, a lot of temporary doctors that are only here for a short time and then they're moving on.
I'm still searching for a good provider.
We encourage our patients and our community members to be active, to engage, to try to bring change to the system. It takes time, and it takes people really talking to their tribal health board members, talking to your tribal legislators, getting the word out that it's not okay, that the system does need to be fixed. And in the meantime, we keep doing the best that we can with what we got.
Paishta chua kadawa he dikyani wa chilaj gadawe amnia kade virsesh basa kadawe he oh wasagachi gada oh wasagachi gada. We as Native people, as an Apsáalooke person, we have different things that we can go to. What makes us Crows? Well, one of the things that really makes us Crows is the Sweat Lodge. The Sweat Lodge, it's considered a religion. It's used to purify the mind as well as the body. And in some cases, they say it has healing power.
I had this real bad pain on the side of my face. It got so bad I couldn't even open my mouth. So I finally went to the clinic and they couldn't find anything wrong. So my brother-in-law built a sweat lodge. And when I got out, the pain was gone. And ever since then, it never came back. And to this day, I don't know what was wrong with me, but I got healed the traditional way.
I know that traditional medicines and prayers work.
Our hospital is very eager to incorporate non-Western approaches to health, and I think anyone, facilities that don't do that are crazy, because to assume that health comes from Western healthcare, I think is a myth.
The role of IHS in our community, it's there when we need it. Medicine men or medicine women that have the right to whatever it is that they treat someone with are out there too. So I think IHS and those resources in our community should work together to provide better care to our people.
I personally believe that the two can be used together. One can be used to complement the other.
We're very eager and open to have sort of traditional, so-called traditional aspects of medicine involved.
I know traditional medicine and traditional plants work. I also know that there's a place for Western medicine. And so if Indian Health Service could really utilize both to help our people would be a lot healthier.
The room that we set aside is the chapel on the second floor. And that's a place where people can come and be smudged or have prayers offered for them or other ceremonial things that can be done within the hospital.
It's good to come to the Indian Health Service and check and see if there's anything really major wrong with you first. If that don't help, then you can go. You have options to use your traditional medicine or healing.
This stuff in the hospital and the clinic is a real small part of it. And they don't have any pills that can offer you the same benefits that you can get from someone praying over you or for being smudged or for going in the sweat lodge. And so we're very eager to have patients engage fully in all of these aspects of having a balanced and healthy life.
Tenatskaka saukaudut maratsu. Vasaamtsa perseematsko kavak vatsat. Tavakpe kabe vakseematsko.
Izi matiko, voivoli. Tie vatsat, ne apsaloga, izi matiko. Igo desho ma uso shmo shichushko. A ma uso shi sausunko. Dela Ekon ševišķo, amalevi spāke šekjo, kamalus sagar. Išķuida veta, balus sagar. Io ševo.
Kaga wajisag kaga. Idewaga saolik amat bachig tush kodelik. Aladawish, alichish. Dera ish at the sag how she was sag. Balitag. Konuach baigalat dide.
Amidahi uri. Miepsalogesh. Miepsalogam amakulushid biwashisak. Akbaretish. And that irui hat kadish koniam amakulushid tari. And miepsalogesh. Basitchuak. Kalamegolakchesh. Ilete goloshin. Kalamagauskuk. Dik kalapsalogan. Akbigo kust. Agik bugadam namish. Digo kalagoda irichirok shilomat.
Psaloga.
Psaloga.
Apsaloga.
Apsaluke.
Apsaluge, which means, it kind of means a lot to me.
It means our people, you know, it's just all of us within the band.
I want to say to future generations of the Crow people, be proud of who you are, where you come from. You come from great people.
I have a theory that we've been here in this area for longer than the teepee rings that are scattered throughout our land, and that's 5,000 years ago.
I know that the Crow culture was a very healthy culture, and I knew it paralleled good medical and health practices that are acceptable in the medical community today. So it's a very healthy culture, and I think that's why it lasted as long as it has.
Yeah, but the time has changed, the food has changed, and the way we live has changed. So we have to make that change right along with that. And as far as going back in the, like say, they usually say the back in the days, who wants to live back there when it's 20 below in a teepee? You know, we can never change to being a non-Indian or anything like that, a white person. You never can. You'll be an Indian the rest of your life. You take it to the grave with you.
They were able to keep this beautiful land. If you just look around the Crow Reservation, I think a lesser group of people would not have been able to keep the culture and the land that they grew up on.
You can go to the Bighorn River and catch your blue ribbon trout. Then you drive about 3 hours, you got our buffalo pasture, and it's something. It's good land.
And what kept us intact and what kept us together, it was that respect. Respect for self, respect for others, depending on each other, calling on each other.
And it's just a way, it's just like belonging to a group. That's really important.
I have all these cousins, not only family, but the clan. So anything that we do, the celebrations, someone is there. In the hard times, they're there for you.
If you go back in the days, the Crows were very proud people. Very proud people. The way they dress, the way they set up camps, the way they do these things.
I'm very, very proud that I'm a Crow Native woman. You know, and I instill that in my children, hoping that they will continue.
There's not any other way. I was born Crow, so I don't see another way.
There's advocacy about retaining our cultural ways, about retaining our language, but I firmly believe that we must practice our ways to preserve it.
It's just great being a Crow.
We've got to go back to those times where we got to start respecting the parts of the cycle of life.
I would not want to be anybody else. I love being Crow.
Let me say this, nobody would ever be satisfied with everything. You're gonna have complaints. You're gonna have complaints, you're gonna have arguments, you're gonna have all this. But let's put all that aside and take a look at life. We're here for a short period of time. So make the best of it and do what you can.
This chicken. Marže dičesi, Hajish Taraj, Akbari Ergal, Birchocha, Akbari Shottawari Echik, Akbari Marshuri Jevik, Shottar Karir Chilkushin, Echevia, Nishotte Gochu. Dear Baja, Maharajka. Chijeka. Karidad. Birikabisha. Kriwach Habego. Marushitsa. Mirchwaga Wizig, Maichik. Chichekia, Marcus Samir, Validima, Aparakadahitar, Kriwagotego.
We hope the information shared in this video will empower you to take care of yourself and realize the importance of working with your healthcare provider to receive the care you deserve. Remember, let's work together to stay healthy. Aho.
Amen.
dio desce an mahiles bashitive ba ichi solida ike avagan sota khebigukan ave gyojita di amacha jeshkesa bala se bala khaka badak tiagada di bacha ji akbadak dia akbadak dia di ba ichi salida